sweethearts, it's Mama Radha. So thank you guys for finding me, for resubscribing again or subscribing for the first time after hearing about being terminated now 5 times. The haters are hating. Anyway, I had someone ask me a good question, and since it's going to take me a hot minute to re-download all the videos that I have saved, which are not as many as I actually had on my third channel, fourth channel, anyway, whatever. The one that Mr. Samuel showed on his program. But anyway, so Tiffany, hi Tiffany, had a great question about me in the early years of my marriage. You know, was I always submissive? Did I have a struggle? You know, did I have a hard time with that? And it's funny because, again, me and my husband loved each other since we were 14 years old. That's a really long time, and that's very young. So, but right from the beginning, it was always his way or the highway. He was always the boss, always in charge, and there was no such thing as equality. So, but when, you know, we moved in together, got married and all that, there were some instances that made me realize some feminism had creeped in that I didn't realize, you know, had got in there. I've always understood innately, I guess, that, you know, men are stronger, they're bigger, they're the protectors, you know, generally they're the providers, and they're the ones, you know, that I'd always see, they were all fighting the wars, they were, you know, building things and all this kind of stuff. So I guess I just kind of knew that. I watched a lot of old Hollywood movies growing up, read a lot of books, and I just kind of got that. So thank you, God, for putting that in me. But anywho, we did live in a lot of different places around the world. So, you know, I don't know how much that had to do with it. And my mom's Indian, so the Indian culture, no matter what my mother said, who was very much a feminist, you know, I could see, you know, what the truth was. So anywho, but, you know, again, when we got married, not originally, but when we got married, is one time only. When it came down to like, oh, it's boys' night, you know, guys are going out, da 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 da. And then I was like, well, what about girls' night? And it was like, no, you know, that's when I was like, well, that's not fair, you know, and all that. And he was like, honey, look, it's very simple. Nobody is going to kidnap me. Nobody's going to rape me. All right. You're the one that I have to worry about. It's my job to protect you. So you need to understand that I'm going to put parameters, boundaries on where you can go, what you can do, etc. So I was like, but you know what? Once he explained it like that, I was like, well, I can't argue with you. I know that you're right. So that was kind of the main thing that was what brought up the whole like egalitarian thing in me. Bella, goodness gracious. Anywho, what was when dealing with the kids, my husband's always been stern, and I thought he was too harsh, you know, and the first 3 are boys. So, he was definitely hard. And, I was like, you're too hard on them, you know, but then I realized, I was like, no. And he would always say, listen, I'm a man, I was a boy, I know what they need. And he was right, because our teenagers with our kids, no problem at all. Phenomenal. They grew up to be phenomenal people. You know, last one's a daughter. He's a little softer on her, but not really. She didn't really get away with much more than they did. And she's been an amazing kid. So they've all grown to be amazing people because they had the fear of daddy, awe and reverence, AWE, you know, and that's very important. And they saw that mama awed and reverenced, you know, and had a healthy fear of daddy in a good way. Like I said, a healthy fear, not like, oh no, I'm worried that daddy's going to beat me in a corner. No, you know, and I'm the one that asked him for a domestic discipline relationship, maybe around 11, 12 years ago. Because that was just something that I knew, again, since we were 14. I was like, I wish he would just put me over his knees, spank my ass, because I need it. My father was not a disciplinarian. He loved us very much. He was a good father. He was a good protector. But yeah, so I definitely was missing that in my life. But anywho, it just seemed right. It just seemed right. And again, I watched a lot of old movies, books, this, that, and the other. And that was a big part of things. And I was like, you know what? When they stopped doing that, things went wrong. So I'm just saying, let's see. I'm trying to think of what other little things that maybe. The other thing I would say that I had trouble with is because I didn't earn my own money. I'll give a reason, which really isn't a reason at all, because if I just asked, he would give me pretty much the desires of my heart, if and when he could. But I would spend money that I shouldn't without asking. I went on a few shopping sprees here and there over 23 years of marriage. It's coming up 23 years in December. So that was something I did that was disobedient. It was not the way you're supposed to do things. And again, because I know women so well, I know myself, I didn't ask for the fear of rejection, for the fear of being told no. So I would just do it and then, just try to make up for it afterwards. And that's bad. So I definitely did end up learning my lesson, and definitely haven't done that for years. Very, very careful. And it's funny because he makes way more now than we did back then, but I would not dishonor him, disrespect him by just buying things that I'm like, ooh, that's nice. We plan now, and I'll say that, me and his daughter would like to go to the mall. We'd like to do a little shopping spree. Maybe, we'll plan Christmas, maybe after Christmas is good sales, things like that. And now we plan. But, when we had Disney annual passes for a little while, we had a couple girl weekends where we were just like, let's do everything, and me and my girl, we went out on the cars that drive on the water, and it's like a boat, but it's a car. We did that. We did like all this kind of fun stuff. Went to Kate Spade, all kinds of fun stuff, and just had a blast. I got her one of those cute little dresses that they sell at, what do you call it now? Not Downtown Disney, but Disney Springs. And it fit her so well. I mean, she's so petite. She looked awesome in it. Anyway, so we did have our fun. And because I guess the things I was doing were not that bad, even though I was in trouble, I wasn't in trouble. Like, to my husband, the most important thing has been that I am a good, faithful woman to him. But money is important because he works his butt off for it, and it can't just be spent any old way that I feel like it. So that can ruin a man too. So anywho, so those were pretty much my main disobedient issues. But again, I learned, and I realized that I do not like to displease Daddy. I do not like to see disappointment on his face, to hear disappointment in his voice, to make him upset. I do not like to do that. It breaks my heart. So I try hard not to do the things I know that he doesn't like. Very simple. And it is my job to be pleasing to him, to live my life in a way that represents our family well. And I always would say that to some women that I know that have a problem with talking to men and getting phone numbers and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, listen, if you dress like a lady and you act like a lady, men may compliment you, open the door for you, all those kind of nice things, but they know that's where it stops. You shouldn't be having conversations with men, period. Hanging out, stopping, talking, getting into this and that. And no, that is not what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be about your business, doing what you're supposed to be doing. And anytime I have ever had a conversation with anybody about anything, whether I'm at their store or whatever it is, my husband, his profile picture with his big arms and tattoos and sexy ass, is on my phone. So, I'm always wearing my rings, and I'm always talking about my family, my husband. The fact that we love each other since we're 14, and he's amazing. And if anybody actually goes over the point of like, hey, what do you think, or this, that, the other, I'm like, I love my master. I talk about him like he's my king, which he is. And they're like, well, okay, cool. And so many men respect that, and they honor that, of course. And they're like, damn, that's awesome. So, there's no excuse for getting yourself involved with men, period, aside from your husband. There's just no excuse. You have control over that, okay? So anywho, Yeah, so basically, I submit myself to my husband literally in everything. However, he wants me to do my schedule for the day, the things that he wants me to get done in the day, what things he wants me to do with the children. Um, it's the way Daddy says, plain and simple. And back in the day, every now and then I might be, well, why don't we do it like this? But I've learned to just be quiet. And if he wants my opinion, he'll ask me, which he does sometimes. And he'll give me a choice sometimes. Would you like to do it like this? You want to do it like that? Um, but it's with his headship and his covering. So I would say those are the main things that I had a challenge with when we first got married and had to kind of ease myself. We had to get into our grooves. He was a young man as well. So, and it is, you realize that you've been brainwashed more than you think you've been brainwashed when you get into a marriage relationship. And those things that come up in the egalitarian conversation, come to surface, and then men become more and more confident as they get older. When they're a little younger, they might be a little bit like, I'm not sure where the line is, where, I'm going to draw the line here. I'd really like to draw the line here. But as they grow, as they gain more confidence, they are much more outspoken about what they want and how they want it, like their tolerance level. My husband said when he turned 40, his tolerance level was 0. He's like, I've been doing this too long to put up with any bullshit whatsoever. So God bless his soul. And there's been so many amazing things that have come from me surrendering my life to my husband. First of all, his love, real love, deep love, amazing love, to the point where he has made sure that I'll be taken care of. If he goes before me, I will be fine. I won't ever have to remarry for financial reasons, and I will never remarry. I will never be with anybody else. I've said I'm going to make him into a, if you've ever watched Vikings, they made a Bjorn statue of him like holding up the sword. It's one of my favorite parts of the movie, show, series, whatever. That was a very good series. I don't watch TV. So anyway, and he's on a horse, and they've got him in this like, what do you call it? Like some kind of a memorial tribute thing that they made. And I was like, I would do that. I also said I wanted to make a mold of his. Anyway, too much information, but he's like, girl, what's wrong with you? I'm like, you have no idea. I worship the ground you walk on. I'm obsessed with you. The thought of another man, his stuff or anything like that freaks me out. Like it disgusts me. But I guess that's what happens. You've been with one man, and he's everything. He's everything to me. So anyway, how to get on that tangent, but it's a good one. It's a good one. Yes. He's my everything. Let's see. I forgot what the heck I was talking about when I went off on all that. He's amazing. What I get out of it. That's right. So yeah, besides for actual love, which I think a lot of men actually love their women. He's calling me. I have to go. All right, ciao.